Well, since Deadpool 2 is coming out in about a week or so, well, a little bit more than a week, I think. Yeah. Uh, I've decided to review the rest of the X-Men movies that I needed to review, and, well, what better one to continue with than the first Deadpool. This film was a film that apparently a lot of people were a little bit iffy about going into it, or at least before they saw the trailers, because, I mean, we saw Deadpool done before in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and, yeah. Ugh. But, however, due to a leaked Deadpool test footage thing that came around Comic-Con, and I say leaked because it may or may not have been intentional by someone at the studio. No one knows if it was Ryan Reynolds or if Fox just put it out as leaked footage to see how it all work out. But ever since people saw that test footage, people were like, oh my god, yes, that's Deadpool. And me included. I mean, granted, I didn't know that much about Deadpool. In fact, really, the most I knew from Deadpool was what I saw from the test footage. I thought it was really funny. The writing was especially really clever. And so I was like, yeah, I actually do want to see a movie about this character. This would be really, really cool. And leading up to it with all of those trailers, I mean, it was so funny. The trailers were absolutely hilarious. Hell, a lot of TV spots, especially during the Blu-ray release, tried to make it look like Deadpool was like some weird kind of hemorrhoid cream or something, or some sort of medicine or whatever. And it's so funny. Even this poster, that poster is so funny. I still find that poster to be really, really funny. And good lord, when Deadpool came out, everybody went bonkers over it. Critics loved it. Audiences loved it. Audiences really, really loved it. To the best of my knowledge, I think it's the highest grossing worldwide R-rated film. And I think it made like over $700 million off of a budget that was like 50 million or something. That's incredible. That is so incredible, and it just shows how popular, or maybe not even how popular Deadpool was, just how good the marketing was. Because at the time people were having superhero fatigue because the last major superhero movie to come out that the previous year, 2015, was Fantastic Four, and even though I liked it, a lot of people hated it. Before that, there was Ant-Man, which I liked and people liked but didn't love, and before that, there was Avengers: Age of Ultron, and while I liked it a lot, hell, I think it's in my top 10 favorite comic book movies at the moment. Most people thought it was just okay, so there wasn't a great comic book movie for a while. And so when people saw the marketing for Deadpool, they were like, oh my god, like this looks like a fresh take on the superhero genre. And in many ways it was. Now, people would like to say that Deadpool was an original superhero movie. I mean, they knew it was based on a comic, but they're saying, it didn't have any cliches, it was just a new kind of comic book movie. I would be very much against saying that. Now, hear me out when I say this. Because it's going to sound like a negative, but it's not. It's going to go into a positive. It leads into a positive. Deadpool is not original at all. Because really, when you look at the plot is just about as cookie cutter as it gets. Guy falls in love with girl gets kidnapped, and guy has to go save the girl. That is one of the most basic plots I've ever heard in my life. So, this is, believe me, this is not an original kind of comic book movie. It is probably the most cliched you could think of. But here's why Deadpool works. The writing, the characters, all of it is done so well, at that point, the plot just becomes irrelevant, and you're just enjoying this really funny dialogue and these really likable characters. Let's just start off with Wade Wilson and his girlfriend, I forget her name. these two work so well off of each other. They are the perfect match for one another. Because if there's one thing that really slows down a superhero movie, or even, well, not comic book movies, it's a bad romance. Or at least a romance that you don't really give a shit about. Like, for example, the original Spider-Man trilogy with Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson. I question why those two were even together in the first place. They were so incompatible with each other. Or, hell, X-Men Origins Wolverine. I really could not care about that romance. Probably just about every single one of the original Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher Batman movies. Those romances, like, hell, Batman had a new love interest every movie during that time. And by the time they got to Batman and Robin, like, the love interest only got, like, maybe, like, 1 or 2 lines at max. So yeah, most comic book movie romances are just not that interesting. But, like I said before, what makes the romantic chemistry in Deadpool work is because, they're so compatible with each other. The lady, she is just as disgusting and raunchy as Deadpool is. It leads to probably the greatest sex scene in movie history. I'm not gonna... Oh my god. That scene is so funny. I don't know why this movie, Deadpool, wasn't nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay at the Oscars. Because it's just so funny. It's just so clever. This is the best kind of Deadpool script you could think of. And there are probably people out there who are like, but the Oscars are for you know, Oscar movies, not comic book movies. Even though Logan was just nominated this year for Best Adapted Screenplay. And regardless if it's a comic book movie or not, Deadpool, among most people, like, it had one of the best scripts of the year. It doesn't matter if it was based on a comic book. What matters was that it was the best script that movie could have possibly had. And I really feel like it should have gotten a nomination. The line delivery... Well, not the line delivery. The writing and just the banter between the characters is just so entertaining. And funny enough, this movie actually does have some heart. Believe it or not. Because, like, it's not all jokey jokes. Like, it will get serious every once in a while, but whenever it does get serious, it is warranted. It actually does make sense within the context of the story. And it actually is emotionally gripping. I mean, I'm not crying through this movie. Even though he's not... I wouldn't say he's one of the top 5 greatest comic book movie villains. Ajax, a.k.a. Francis, which is his real name, he is actually a very entertaining villain as well. He gets a lot of screen time. He gets a lot of really funny lines here and there. And... funny enough, he has an amazing action scene with Deadpool. I mean, well, he has 2 of them. The second fight scene he has with Deadpool is absolutely amazing. Like, it's actually very well choreographed, and whenever they use CGI, it actually is good CGI. And, like, it's at least good enough for me to buy into it in this world. So yeah, I'm really trying to think of what else I can say about Deadpool. It's just a really funny superhero movie. Like I said, people will say it's an original comic book movie, but it's not really original. It's about as cookie cutter as it gets. But, however, I always say that it doesn't matter how original your idea is. What matters is how you execute that idea. And with Deadpool, the cliche plot is completely forgotten, and you're just so entertained and moved by the screenplay and characters. And, yeah, because of this, and because of how really good Deadpool is, I'm going to be giving Deadpool a 10 out of 10. Stay tuned for my next review, which is going to be for X-Men Apocalypse. I can't wait to talk about that one. So yeah, what do you guys think of Deadpool? I mean, you probably like it. I mean, most likely, at least. Whatever the case may be, let me down in the comments below what you think. Give this video a like. Share this video so that we can get the channel circulated. And if you want to see more, click this. Oh, and don't forget to support my Patreon. Link